Hello, 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 and hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Welcome to another episode of Real Men Being Men. Got a great broadcast lined up for you, as I hope that we always do. I'm not important, just a question ask. I see Rodney moving all over the place over there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with him, but we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him still in a minute. We're gonna get him still in a minute because he's all over the place right now. I'm not important. I'm just a question ask. But this is my brother from another mother. This is Rodney.
What up?
Tell
How you
everybody
doing?
where you're originally from and where you're hailing at right now.
I am from Stamford, Connecticut, hailing from Decula, Georgia.
Big time tequila. Big time
Decula.
tequila. Yes, yes, yes. And we have my baby girl with us, Mary. Tell everybody who you are and where you're hailing from.
Um, I am Mary, and I'm in Virginia.
Okay.
I
we're gonna,
love
we're
that
gonna
energy.
absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna kick this thing off, man. We got a few more people that's supposed to be joining us as well. I got a video clip that I'm gonna play during the second part of the broadcast. But right now I want to ask this question. And I'm gonna let y'all end the sentence how you want to end the sentence. Rodney, gonna come to you first. Ask the question: can you trust again after? Can you trust someone again after? And whatever that after is, you tell me what it is. And can you trust again?
After being betrayed, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind
Go
of
ahead.
rough. It's kind of hard
Why is that?
because the trust level is not there anymore. When you giving yourself to a situation, no matter what it is, and to find out that you've been betrayed, your deepest confidence is that's something hard to come back from.
But see, okay, I can agree with that, and you're absolutely right. But I will say this right here though. What if you are the one that has did the betraying? Do you want to be trusted again?
That's something you earn.
Okay.
You know?
So why can't the other person also earn it? Because it's real. It's see, and the reason why I did that, Rodney, it's real funny how sometimes when the shoe is on the other foot, is a whole different ball of wax. But if we are the one that has betrayed somebody, if we're the one that has betrayed somebody, we want that trust back. We want them to
Well, not
give us.
necessarily. I mean, here's the thing, Raheem.
There you go,
If
my
I
man.
violated if I violated the trust, there was something in there to make me doubt the relationship to begin with. And so what I
Mm,
have to do is think about what I have to do is think about what got me to that level. There was something there for me to violate the trust. All
do
right.
you think? Do you think all people cheat? And I want to go to Mary with this as well. But let me ask you this question: do you think all people cheat because there's a lack of in the relationship, or some people cheat just because they're greedy, nasty, and just conniving?
People cheat because it's selfish.
Exactly. Exactly.
I wouldn't even call them greedy. I wouldn't use your terms. I just
Mm-hmm.
think that people are selfish. They want what they want when they want it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't think it's calculating. I just think people are selfish.
That's good. That's good. And so it's not always a situation where there's something lacking in a relationship. Sometimes people are just like you say, man, they just selfish and they go out there
Well,
and
no,
they
It
spread.
depends on a person's perspective now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, a lot of times people have their own demons in their own head, and they
Mm-hmm.
imagine some things that may or may not be true, which will provoke them into cheating. For instance, if you have a spouse and in your mind you think she's cheating, she may not be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll justify your action because of your own perceptions. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily make it true. So
And
again, that's something internal. That's a demon that we have to deal with within ourselves.
and you're absolutely right. And that person right there, the person that's in that situation or that predicament need to be by themselves because they need some healing that they need to do within themselves. But hold on for a second. Let me go to Mary. Mary, hey, I'm just being honest, brother. Uh, let me go to Mary. Mary, can you trust again after? And you let that after be whatever you want it to be. Can you trust again after?
Um, I would if I'm going with the same thing with betrayal, yes, but it's gonna take me a long time because I'm not too keen on trusting in the first place
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like when I first meet you, you still gotta earn my trust. I don't know you, so once you earn it, if you lost it, it's real hard to earn it back for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, sure, I'll trust you again, but it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of um mental things for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody can trust again. But I think I agree. Trust is always earned, no
Mm-hmm.
matter who it is, no matter if it's you or someone else. Trust is always earned.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can earn it again.
Okay.
It's just gonna take you some time.
So you think it would take some time for you to earn that person's trust again, or for you to earn that person's trust again if you were the one that made the mistake?
I would be concerned if I didn't have to earn it again,
Mm-hmm.
because that means that you trust in everybody and you just letting everybody into your. I don't know. I feel like it's weird. Like if I betray someone and they just like, oh yeah, I still trust you though. That's weird.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like their standards are low, and I probably wouldn't be cool with them anymore just because your standards are too low.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And so, I'm gonna dub into that for a minute, Mary. I'm gonna dub into that for a second, because you say that is it a bad thing? Because I want to hear exactly what you're saying. Is it a bad thing that they trust like that, or that they are that trusting?
I don't think it's bad to be trusting. I think it's bad to allow yourself to trust someone, they betray you, and then you just go right back into it blind.
Mm-hmm. So basically, what I'm hearing you saying, you could very well be setting yourself up for a drive-by, if you will.
Right, and that's why I feel like it's odd. Like if someone lies to you all the time,
mm-hmm.
and then they told a big, I guess small lies or whatever some people don't care about, I feel like they're still important. Because if you lie about something small, you lie about something big.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone lies to you about a big thing, and then you forgive them, and then you just go right back into trusting them, that's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like, your loyalty is great. That's awesome. But you don't have to trust so easily. I would be concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because who else are you trusting?
Exactly. Rodney, what do you say to that, man? If you do something to betray somebody's trust and I still trust you. It's okay. I still trust you. I'm not. Is that concerning to you?
Well, hell, excuse my language.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got you a fool on your hands.
but they can come from a very trusting environment. They can come with
that would if somebody can trust like that again, that concerns me, partner, because my whole thing is this: there's certain levels of trust. If I wanted to regain that trust or get that trust or back and so forth, it would have to be incrementally,
mm-hmm.
in increments,
mm-hmm.
not full flat out. I would have to trust you with a little first, and to build that level back again. But if anything other than that, you got a psycho on your hands.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And see, the thing about it is, if they come from a very trusted environment where they've seen so much and they just built that way, maybe their spirituality is just that good, and I will forgive you.
You can't trust a person like that. You can't trust them, man.
Why can't you trust them? See,
you can't trust them.
How you gonna flip that?
Trust them.
Why?
Trust me, you can't trust them.
What is it that they have displayed to make you think that you can't trust them?
If they're that gullible, partner, you know what I mean? And that if they're that gullible and that low self-esteem, then
mm-hmm.
they got issues.
See, I understand what you're saying. I understand exactly what you're saying.
They got issues, partner. I don't care.
But my thing is,
look. If I cheat on my wife, she says, "Don't worry, baby, I'm gonna cook you a spaghetti dinner."
Ooh.
We have a problem.
Exactly. But see, Mary, my thing is to be gullible is one thing, but to be trusting is another. I don't think if a person is that trusting, I don't necessarily mean that it has anything to do with them trusting you or not trusting you. They may be gullible. They could be very gullible. But is that a bad thing to trust like that, or to be that forgiving? Mary?
I think forgiving and trusting is two different things, though.
Yeah. Well,
you can forgive someone and never trust them again or be associated with them anymore. Like let's say your friend, God forbid, I don't think it ever happened, but if your friend were to sleep with mom,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't trust that friend or be associated with that friend anymore, but you'll forgive them for the goodness of your own heart.
I
So
won't.
it's different. I think forgiveness and trusting is different.
I won't have to forgive them. They be dead.
You forgive them, but don't trust them, right?
No, I won't have to forgive them at all. They be dead. They be dead. They be gone. They be gone. They be buzzing me.
I forgive you, but you dead.
Exactly. Yeah, I forgive every part of you, but too bad you ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it, brother. But that's okay, brother Pete.
How you doing, sir?
What's going on, Captain? How you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty good, sir. How about you and the panel and the family?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Let me ask you. I'm gonna ask you this question. This is our first square right here, and it revolves around this right here, and I want you to fill in the blank. Can you trust again after? And whatever that after is, you can fill in the blank. Can you trust again after?
Trust is broken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can?
Absolutely.
How difficult would it be to do so?
It could be extremely difficult. It could be very easy. It could go all the way to being extremely hard, but there's no impossibility in it. It's very possible. It's a matter of two individuals really establishing within themselves a rooted foundation of all that is true, real, and purposeful,
Mm-hmm.
and some sincerity and forgiveness. For 33 years or so, I've been taking an unofficial survey with older couples, and one of the most reoccurring statements I've heard over the years is love each other and forgive each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's very possible.
Is it easier? And I'm trying to be careful how I do this. Is it easier to trust someone based on what they have done? Say if they cheated on you compared to if they lied or even stole something from you. Is it easier?
No, I don't think it's easier because once the trust is broken,
Mm-hmm.
it's broken, right? It's the contract has been torn up.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? The faith, the trust is ripped apart and destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be reestablished and then reaffirmed, right? And then secured. So this is where spirituality comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that can test the very fibers of who and what one is as a living being.
Yeah.
Test all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And take all of that in a rooted foundation of truth and right and good and sincerity and love, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be able to deal with it and properly overcome it. It also involves maturity. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it does. It does.
We don't realize a lot of the chaos that went on with grandma and granddad or great grandma and granddad at this time. And we're not justifying no wrong. We're just acknowledging the reality.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you came around as a grandchild or a grandchild, all you know is granddad and grandma was sitting in the front room together and they loved each other. You ain't know nothing about all the carnage that had taken place.
That's good. That's good. It's a lot of people say this terminology, and I'm going to go to got a few more people that just come in. I want to go to them as well. A lot of people say this terminology: I forgive you, but I don't forget. How do they go together, Pete? How can you? And I know it does happen, but how?
They don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the world. That's the world, and not coming in. That's man holding on to something that he want to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean when I said the truth, right?
Yeah.
Not your concept of it,
Mm-hmm.
but the concept of the oneness of what truth is as an entity, as a purpose, as a standard, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we align ourselves with that, see the superficial, if we took out what people think, what people gonna say, what we think people know, how it's gonna look, what about, what if, what possibly, what could be, and just simply look at the fact that, yeah, they did wrong. They did wrong, they did me wrong. But you know what? I love that person. And I know that they love me. And I know that they're human. And I know that we could all make mistakes. And if I had made a mistake like that, knowing how I love this lady and she messed up on me, but I know how I love her. And if I did it, I would want her to forgive me if I was trying to work it out with her and not kick me to the curb, because really I love her. I just had a moment, right? And now, of course, it's easy if you ain't had no babies, you ain't fell in love, you ain't brought home no diseases. It may be a little bit easier. You see what I'm saying? Because you know, if you done brought a disease home, you done had babies or something, you done really complicated it.
Yeah.
But this still don't mean you can't get over it. It still don't mean that you can't get over it.
Does everybody have
that? That's the miraculous part, and that's where the spirituality comes into play. This is where we start seeing the need for these concepts of grace and mercy, see, and something higher and stronger existing outside of ourselves that can pull us in together in the oneness of our union and realign us back to that oneness, and still add the forgiveness of where we've been forgiven for other things ourselves together in this thing, be forgiven and be able to forgive, so that we can continue to go on forward strong as a union. Now we're getting off into the reality of the supernatural, but it still is possible.
Does everybody have that level of maturity that you spoke of?
They do not.
Okay, good deal. Let me go to Rico. Rico, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I can't complain. What's going on with y'all fellas?
Hey, doing good. I want you to fill in the blank. Can you trust again after? And whatever that after is, can you trust again after that act or whatever it is happens?
After you try to take my life?
Wow.
I mean, some lines ain't supposed to be crossed. I heard you just say a second ago, if somebody had a maturity with a level of thinking, but maybe it's less maturity and more compassion. To be able to forgive like that, because when you start thinking about the maturity of it, of what's right and what's wrong, there's just some things that a person ain't supposed to do. Some lines they ain't supposed to cross. Like a daddy ain't supposed to have a daughter by his daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying? I mean, a woman ain't supposed to have a son that got turned out by her brother. Things like that. So it's some lines you just don't cross. When you say there's some things you just can't forgive, that might be one of them. There may be some things that I've seen some people forgive though, man. You remember that cop, I think her name was Geiger or something like that, killed that Batiste guy in Texas, and then his brother hugged him.
Yep.
Told her he forgave him.
Yeah,
man, that was something that most people said they would not be able to do. So I mean, man, that takes a very deep, that, like people said, man, that's a spiritual thing, man. You have to go through a lot of thought process, man. I mean, you have to have a lot of compassion for you to forgive somebody that took the life of your child. I've seen different people that, lost their child to somebody, and they actually reached out to that person that killed them and then adopted them. I mean, some amazing stories, and you on the outside looking in, you might say, well, they gullible. But then when you think about the real, I guess what you want to say, the Christ in them, because most of these people that do that, they're very religious. When you think about the true religious side of them, I would expect that, that's something that they probably would do.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. It certainly would take a lot. It would take a whole lot. Leonard, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Good evening, Raheem. Good evening, fellas. How are you?
Hey, doing good. Asking a question. Can you fill in the blank? Can you trust again after? Whatever that after is, could you find it in yourself to trust somebody after they did whatever that thing is you're thinking of?
Really depends on what it is.
You fill in what it is, whatever it is that you fill in that blank.
I have a best friend, and he's like a brother to me. We've been friends since probably third grade. There are certain things I know not to trust.
Wow.
There's just certain things I know that you can't count on him too.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And it doesn't matter. That's his character. So I don't hold it against him. I just don't place my trust in him to do certain things.
Mm-hmm. So
see, a human being can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not the type of person that blindly follows anyone. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Mother, brother, none of that. Because at some point that you fail, which human beings do,
mm-hmm.
then where does your humanity come from after that?
Mm-hmm. So basically,
because you're not perfect. No one's perfect.
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
be counted on to do the majority of things that I say I'm going to do.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. I'm more the type of person like, say for instance, I heard a comment you said the other day, and I hate this comment. People say it all the time. And it's almost like, really think about what you're saying. Oh, black people so forgiving. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. Look at our community. Look at our community.
Mm-hmm.
We'll kill you for stepping on our shoes. So we ain't that forgiving, we ain't that Christian, and we ain't that holy.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain people who are on a certain path that in order to stay true to themselves, this is the reason why they forgive. They forgive because they want to release the negative energy associated with whatever it is that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody says, I don't trust you, trust me with what? You don't trust me with what? Why you don't trust me? I don't know. I just don't trust you. What evidence have I given you not to trust me?
Yeah. That's my question. Mm-hmm.
Right. Because sometimes the people just fail. They just fail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes people fail for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I would say, like, if I'm not going to give a crackhead my crack to take somewhere else.
You be a fool.
So they're going to smoke it.
Yeah. You'll be a fool. Absolutely.
No, that bothers me. No one should be that stupid where you just blindly trust people.
So basically what you're saying, if you know somebody is a thief, you're not going to leave $20 on your counter and go to the bathroom with them there.
Right. It's not wise.
Mm-hmm.
So wisdom replaces a lot of that need for you to get caught up in these trust situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I look at it from a point of, I need to use my wisdom to discern certain things about certain people and not get caught up in what they will and won't do, and then be so distraught about everything that happens.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what do you say to that? Can you trust again after? And you fill in the blank of whatever that after is that they done to you, but can you trust again?
That's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with my wife, I'd say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With some other people, I think there's sometimes keeping your enemies closer serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So you can understand the way they think. But it's also weighing every single thing that they'll ever say to you and weighing it before you decide if it's truthful or not. Some people, they lie so much that they shouldn't be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I do feel it is a situation thing. Yet, I do think a majority of society doesn't trust one another.
You say do not?
Do not. With so much selfishness out here nowadays, it's an unfortunate side effect of the narrative that's been pushed onto all of us.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
At least that's my standpoint.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Phone lines open. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Toussaint, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I'm good.
Good deal. Good deal.
Take it like it comes.
I hear you, brother. We're asking a question and you fill in the blank. Can you trust again after, whatever that after is? Can you trust that person after they did that to you? What do you say to that?
Depends on what was done.
Mm-hmm.
Man, now I tell you what, I know how to move on from a bad incident to another and let it go.
Mm-hmm.
But if I think somebody said, if somebody show you who they are, believe them.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Now your question is, can I trust them?
Yes. Again, after they did whatever the act is they did to you, whatever you fill in that blank and say, would you be able to trust them again after they did that?
Yeah. Everybody has a point that they need to be forgiven and given another chance.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some people I don't trust them no further than I can throw them.
Wow.
Because I believe them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they won't even, I'm not the only person that they act that way with.
Mm-hmm.
So they like that with everybody they meet.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that live their lives to be disruptive.
Mm. Wow.
I mean, they believe their own lie.
Mm-hmm.
They're manipulative. They sow discourse. They're mean and nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know people. Let's take, for instance, the political arena. Are you willing to give them another opportunity to put you back in the same predicament that they did the last term that they had?
No.
That would be a mistake on your part, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Rodney, talk to me, brother.
So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Toussaint. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No. But you gotta pick your poison.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next dose might kill you.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Rodney, talk to me.
Yeah, I was listening to the brothers. I was thinking twofold. One is the trust factor. You have to look at the history behind the relationship and the history behind the person. As Leonard said, if a person's known to be a thief or a liar, to trust them with that kind of information is detrimental to your own judgment.
Mm-hmm.
However, most crimes in America are crimes of opportunity. Piggybacking on what Badger said, many people don't know themselves and what they're capable of. So when pressed against the wall, you never know what they're going to say or do because there's self-preservation is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times you do have to take into account the history, the background. In the insurance business, it's called the previous activities can predict future outcomes. So if a person has a propensity, like Leonard said, to smoke crack, don't trust them with your money, but you can trust them with other stuff. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, whomever, for instance, if I were to have a transgression against my wife, she would say, well, let me look at his history, his past. That would be an indicator on whether I could be forgiven or not. But if every weekend I'm hanging out, you know what I mean? That apology means nothing. I have people that work with me all the time that are always apologizing. And it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Well, I say you show me what you're working with. Then I'll forgive based on the level of contrition you have.
Good deal.
But, again, everybody has the opportunity. I tell most people, very few people know what they're going to do from 1 minute to the next. So they're going to be asking for forgiveness at some point because we're all going to make a mistake somewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rico?
You know what I found out, man, is that most times if somebody has something that you want, that you desire, or they have things that you consider reaching a standard of success or something like that, we're more willing to want to trust them, forgive them, or give them a second chance. Now, if they don't really have anything to offer, then it's real quick for us to cut them loose. I mean, look, we could send them to the store to buy something, and they could come back 25 cents short. I knew you was a thief. We don't need them for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They very expendable. But if it's somebody that you really look up to, or that you say, you know what, that guy's doing something that I like to do, I commend them. Then we always have a tendency to want to have a easier time to give them a pass or give them a second chance. And to be honest with you, you know, when that's what causes people to get bit by the same snake twice.
Yes, sir.
Because it happens a lot of times. You know, when you ask yourself, you know, how did you let this same person get you again? Well, that person had something they was dangling in your face that made you feel like, oh, but look what you can get by dealing with me. Just look at what the advantages is of dealing with somebody like me. You know what come with me, man? There's a whole lot of benefit. Ooh, yeah, I want some of that benefit. Well, you know what? Everybody human. Everybody make mistakes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Before you know it, they done got you again. You know, I see it happen all the time, man. I mean, so, you know, man, this conversation right here, man, I mean, it can go so many different ways because, you know, the logical mind would tell you, well, with me, the logical mind would tell me not to trust somebody that give them a second chance to do it again. But then when you start thinking about forgiveness and who's asking for the forgiveness, it might be your child. Give me a second chance. I promise I won't do it again. Next thing you know, they out there doing it again.
Same thing. Big and harder than they did the last time.
Even worse.
Yeah.
They did it with a little this time. You be like, oh man, I trusted you. Give me the keys to that car. Matter of fact, I'm taking the door off your bedroom.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even have that door no more to close. You ain't got no more privacy. I don't trust you no more. I got to supervise everything you're doing. So I mean, you know, that's what happens, man. I mean, you know, that's how life goes. But I think really and truly, you know, like I said, I'm big on principle. So there's levels to these things, you know what I'm saying? Certain transgressions I won't allow you to come back from.
Absolutely. Now I'm about to play a video. I'm about to play a video clip, and I want you all to look at the video clip, and we're gonna have a discussion on this clip. Cornelius, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, my brother. How are you?
Hey, doing well. Get ready to play this clip, man. Y'all listen to this clip, and we're gonna comment after this. And the clip is about, I think the clip is about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, so we're gonna extend a little bit past our third square just to make up for the time. But take a listen to this. Tell me what y'all think.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy? But there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted 30 years ago. Black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet. Because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help
I'm
them.
not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes.
Now, let me get this off the screen here, and we're going to go back to where we were. All right. Let me get this on. Y'all bear with me just for a second. I'm trying to get this for whatever reason, I don't want to go away. There it is. Now we're back. Rico, what did you hear there? And my question to this particular thing is, how moral or immoral is America? Was Mr. Wallace right, or was Farrakhan right?
Man, Farrakhan was wrong. No, I was kidding. You know, Farrakhan was dead on, man. I mean, I say this all the time, man. I mean, they dropped atomic bombs, man, and then had the mind to even develop such weapons of mass destruction. I mean, we talked about this earlier today. Mm-hmm. All the collateral damage that's done from weapons like that. I mean, you know, it would be so much more of a simple way to solve these conflicts rather than to destroy life. And then to have the audacity to get on your platform and slang all these big adjectives around and act like you just lily white, clean, and perfect like cotton. We don't do nothing wrong. We God's people. We just, you know what I'm saying, we just get to judge everybody's moral compass. Democracy and capitalism in America is great. Man, y'all rip people apart with horses and fed babies and alligators, man. You raped my grandmama. Look what you did to Emmett Till. Did you see his face? Did you see his head? And then don't even talk about the war on drugs and COINTELPRO. Let's not talk about John F. Kennedy and that one bullet that you made everybody, that you forced everybody to act like their eyes told them something different. And you want to talk about, like he said, a 35-year-old country that's probably built on your process. They probably look at you as the standard, as how to function, you know, because to be honest with you, that's the way most of these nations have to function in that type of that manner. You know, man, yeah, I mean, you know, when I first saw that interview, man, I was jumping up and down, man. I like, because you know, every time you hear one of them do that, and I don't mean just white people, but I mean Americans. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to remind us, you know what I'm saying, what they say, look in the mirror. Yeah. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror. You know, I hear a lot of bad things about Russia and China, but then I'm like, man, you know what? I can name some stuff over here that they'll look over at us and be like, Look at them Americans. Exactly. Did you hear what they did? So I mean, just to leave it at America, that'll be good, because we could go a lot deeper than that and talk about King Leopold and, you know, all these other people that went to Africa and did it over there on their own continent, on their own land. Exactly. Let me keep this thing going, man, Coach. I know a lot of people got a lot of things to say on this topic. As a matter of fact, if it goes the way I think it's going to go, we're going to take this topic two squares, this topic right here, because there's a lot to cover. And let me go to Cornelius. Cornelius asking the question. Okay, Badger, let's get it. Cornelius, how moral or immoral is America? How moral or immoral is America? Was Farrakhan right in what he said, or was Mr. Wallace right in his assessment as to what he said?
Hey, Raheem, do me a favor, man. I want to hear everybody else's comment and then make me last, okay? Okay, cool. Leonard, what do you say to that? What's on your heart, brother? Can't hear you. You muted, Leonard. Oh, hold on. I did that. Hold on. I got you. I got you. There you go. You have some notes coming through. I muted you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I remember that interview. And, you know, it's not about right or wrong. It's a perspective. You know, you can choose to be on the side if you want, but the nature of all of it is corruption is everywhere. When you sit there and you say somebody is the most corrupt, then you making a statement. That statement is not true.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
you also have to understand that the minister has a relationship with Nigeria, so he's going to be a lot more defensive about it.
But why? And he said, Farrakhan said it. Why would you say it that way? Why would you say the most corrupt nation? Why would you? He asked the question. Why would you put it like? Why would you say it like that? Go ahead, Leonard.
Right. And because like I say, it's the relationship, about it. And we could talk about the corruption all day. You can talk to some Nigerians and they'll tell you the same thing. But it's someone's perspective. And when I remember when watching that interview, I knew Wallace had messed up because he said the most.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna never come on you and tell you the most of nothing. I'm not gonna come and tell you the percentage of nothing or anything like that. Because one, I'm trying to make myself like I'm just so right, and that's what a lot of people fault because they think they so right, and you may not be all right. And definitely if you say something, I go after the stuff that I know you're wrong at. The impossibility of it's the most corrupt nation. That's impossible. It's impossible. Just based on the evidence alone, it's impossible. Just based on anyone's ability to prove it is impossible.
Yeah.
So why say it unless you was operating from a bias? And even Wallace saw black through that. He didn't say it that way, but Farrakhan defended it that way. Because he knew that had Wallace been looking at Czechoslovakia, he wouldn't have said it that way. He wouldn't have called that the most corrupt nation. He didn't even clarify on why he called it the most corrupt. He just said it. And that's the problem. A lot of people don't like to be challenged on what they say. Because if I give you the evidence and correct you, you should understand that. And you could tell that Wallace knew he had offended Farrakhan when he said it. But before he asked the question, he didn't realize it. He wasn't trying to offend Farrakhan. They were talking about issues related to that in the larger context of that entire interview.
Do you think he thought Farrakhan was going to walk with him when he said that? Most corrupt?
No.
So then he knew that Farrakhan was going to come back.
Just like you. He was just like you.
Here you go.
He was just like you. Question asker. Just like you. Farrakhan is known for his way he expresses and explains things. And anybody that sits in front of him, you gonna understand that because he's so compelling that way. I think that when he said it, he didn't realize Farrakhan would go in like that on him in such a short period of time. Because it didn't take him but a minute.
Did it take a minute?
It didn't even take a minute because I remember the interview because I watched it all back when it come out. And it was in a larger context of corruption.
Yeah.
And we just got that little bit about Nigeria. It's just like if you would ask them about Gaddafi. The people of Libya had problems with Gaddafi.
Well. Yeah,
exactly. That was part of it. But
that was part of the interview.
Farrakhan has a relationship with Gaddafi that makes him respond a certain way to certain things.
Good deal. Hold on, Leonard. Stay right there. Let me keep this thing going. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Badger, you there?
Oh, I'm here. I was.
Come on, Badger. You got a lot of people, brother. Come on.
All right. So, there's this thing that floats around. You can trust the government. Just ask the Native American, right? There's a lot to that.
I've never heard that saying.
Oh. Well, you can find it on the internet.
I can find recipes on the internet. Don't mean I know how to cook. I'm just picking. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
But it's meant as a sarcasm.
I understand. Go ahead, brother. We got you.
Because of all the all of the things that the government pretty much did, as far as like all the treaties and that they supposedly kept to. And you can take all of that and look at countries all around the world. It's always the same. Whoever is in power dictates what happens to the rest of the country. And if they're hateful, evil human beings, they're going to do whatever they can to keep that power. And it's it stinks. However, that's what we're having to deal with.
Wow. Okay.
And the contradictions and the double standards that the silver tongues use all the time to confuse the masses to think certain things about these other countries and stuff. And when you dig long enough, or just dig through even the most recent things, it's insane how much corporations are tied to it all.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to our Rich. And good evening, Rich. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, brother. Glad to be on with y'all again, man. I know I've been absent, been in school and family stuff and work, so it's been kind of wild last year or so, brother. But
it's good to have you, though, brother. Definitely good to have you. Talk to me, though. What do you think about that, man? You heard the interview, man. You heard what was being said. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that interview before with the minister. You know, I'm from Chicago, so you know I've been to Mosque Marion, and I had the privilege of hearing Minister Farrakhan a lot of times, and you know, so I'm familiar with where he was coming from, and I do believe that when Mike Wallace said that, when he said the most, he signified his own racial bias against blacks, and Farrakhan rightfully checked him. You know, you can't throw rocks from a glass house.
Yes, sir.
You know. And I think that unfortunately, and that was a while ago, I think in more recent times, people have started to look at the empire of the United States. White people have begun to start looking at it, some at least, and understanding that, the stories in history, every empire does it. It ain't just the United States. When Joseph Stalin ran the Soviet Union, the way that propaganda went, he was the hero. If Hitler had won, he'd have been the hero. History is the winner is the one who writes the story for the most part. So that's why you got to do a little subjective looking, at different sources to try to determine things in the past. But ultimately, I think that the United States being, as far as countries being corrupt, it's all about power. Power corrupts. The more power you have, the more corrupt you get. The United States is the most powerful empire that the world has ever seen. Now we can argue if it's on decline or not, but the reality is that's the case, and every country in the world, black, white, red, yellow, whoever's running it has the same objective. I don't know of any government that's ever existed in world history or currently that wouldn't take the opportunity to run everything that they could. They just don't have this force of arm. So I don't really like, when we as Americans criticize America, that's one thing, because we have a right to. We hear, but when other people in other countries start, it's like, come on, man, everybody on the same thing. It's all about power and money. I don't care where you at, know. But in that particular conversation, like I said, Mike Wallace, he indicated his bias against blacks. Saying Nigeria is the most corrupt country. And the only reason why Nigeria is jacked up is because of its imperial, when it was ruled as a colony. And you create these borders that don't work with the actual nations of people there, and then you leave people in abject poverty and basically tell them to fend for themselves. Unfortunately, we know how it works. People, get together, corrupt people, thug people. That's in any society. You're gonna see the same thing. They're gonna take the power until ultimately it takes a couple cycles. Like, the country hasn't been free colonialism, not even 100 years now. So eventually, the people uprise and they'll do what they got to do and they'll get themselves a stable government. But that takes time. It took time for the United States to get that way.
Absolutely.
So, that was a bad judgment on Mike Wallace's part. And I'm glad the minister checked him.
Good deal. Good deal. Rodney, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with pretty much everybody. We're dealing with history or his story. And what tends to happen, much like the CRT, they're trying to get out of the system, is that America doesn't want to deal with its own history, deal with its own flaws. And I look at it a step further. It's all about economics. Mike Wallace has, and his sponsors have an agenda to defame Black nations in order to devalue them, in order that they may exploit it. So a lot of times you have to look at the larger picture. These people are not just coming up with these questions or these things. There's a design behind it. And I think you and I talked about it before, how people in the media will throw stuff out there and no one would check him. The thing I respect about Farrakhan, he didn't give him a pass on that. And what happens a lot of times, I think I spoke to you about it, by not checking that, you're co-signing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so what happens, we're sitting back allowing them to take the narrative. The African nations should be more prosperous than they are, especially with all the economic and brain power here in the United States. But they know that if we start combining with them over there controlling the assets, that it'll be a force to be reckoned with. So the larger agenda that I see is devalue the African continent, the African countries, that no one pays attention so they can go exploit the minerals and so forth. So again, what I take from that is that everybody needs to check these commentators that have their own agenda and don't give them a pass.
Exactly. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Yes, sir. What's on your heart?
I tell you, that hit some.
Mr. Hicks?
I'm getting feedback. I thought that was supposed to talk. That's my voice bouncing back.
No. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead.
Okay. Wow. What I saw the wisdom reflected of someone's. They're trying to write out of history. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The wisdom that he had in his lessons that equipped us to go into a conflict, a battle, because that's what it's a battle. You know, the brother minister, he's got a staff of assistants that do research. He knew about this guy. He knew it was a trap on camera, and he was just too quick. The same kind of mastery of your emotions and the lack of fear to confront the enemy. You know, he's got a spirit. When you look at it, you look at Ali, you look at Malcolm, you look all the way down the line. Look at it all. Even now, younger brothers coming up. It gives them the ability to prepare and have information and facts. So he knew. He walked in, knew it was a trap,
and handled it.
And handled it in a dignified way. You didn't cuss him. You didn't get emotional. I mean, you could control those emotions. You let it go through your heart, then you bring it up through your chest, and you put it in your head. Then you think, then you act, not react. And you react with facts. You're well equipped. When he went in, he would look through notes. He knew he had all kinds of different angles that could come with him, and he was ready for him.
Wow.
But okay. But I was watching the. If I got another minute, I'm gonna land this plane.
Go ahead, brother.
I was watching this thing about Miller that started the 7-Day Advent and that whole evolution of that movement. You know, in terms of putting a date when Christ was returned. And I think about, I mean, people they sold their everything. They stood out in corners when the date didn't come. But they had a unity. They had a camaraderie just in the belief that there's a savior, that someone's coming to get me, to help me. A very, very strong motivation, but often misguided. But the wisdom you can't deny, the intellect you can't deny. You got to go back to the source for that.
Absolutely. Toussaint, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? What did you hear?
Invite somebody that don't know a little bit about them. If you're going to ask them a question, what type of answer you going to get? And I believe Wallace knew it was coming. Because see now, Farrakhan is a jewel of a man. He's never out of character. You can't catch him off guard. He's not assuming anything because he done searched out the matter before he even opened his mouth. So you don't never come to him with a half-cocked question. Because that's not that kind of answer you're going to get. I'm pretty sure when he asked the question, he said, oh my gracious, what did I just ask this fellow? Because he should have knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I love Farrakhan because he never loses his composure. I've never seen him lose his composure, even with a dumb question. And for anybody in America to be a part of America and know the history of America, to ask anything about corruption, you shut your mouth.
Wow, that's good.
Don't call anybody corrupt. Because you can't. And he laid down the facts.
Yeah.
From day one, America starts with a lie and mistreats people along the way as they discover and use and abuse people after people, different types, and they want to police the world and they can't take care of their own business.
Wow.
It's kind of like, and I'll shut up, trying to remove the mote out of your brother's eye and you walking around with a beam in yours.
Come on.
Check yourself.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Brother Pete, talk to me, brother. What did you hear?
Corruption, intentional wickedness with a voice to deceive and try to incite. And like that our dear brother said, he ran into one who was astute and well prepared for your foolishness and gave it right back to you. He knew exactly what he was doing. This is ridiculous. This is when we have the embargo against Cuba. I'm sure at that time we had North Korea against South Korea at that time. I'm sure we had Israel against Palestine at that time. How much do you want to point to around the world talking about wickedness and corruption, and then you want to point to a small little nation? How dare you? How dare you? When the question could have been raised and gone even deeper and got personal to Wallace's very existence himself, and put him in the hot seat and have him validate why he should maybe even be allowed to be here, looking into the vestiges of his lineage. Be careful now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm hearing there's a bad echo. Hey, Tucson, do y'all hear echo? You hear echo too?
Yeah.
I didn't hear one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Y'all might need to hang up
on the phone line.
Yeah, it might just be on the phone line. Y'all might hang up and call right back. Let me see. Let me see.
Okay.
No. Mr. Hicks, you hold on. You hold on for a second, Mr. Hicks. You hold on. Don't hang up, Mr. Hicks. Oh, too late. Cornelius, you hold on. Cause I'm gonna get the phone lines out. But while we do that, Joseph, you still there? Oh, lost everybody. Okay, now hopefully they'll call back in. Now, Cornelius, do you hear the echo?
Yeah, I've been hearing it real bad too.
Okay.
There it is again for me.
Okay, it might be one. Let me see. Let me mute this line right here. I think that might be it right there. Okay. Do you still hear it? Do you still hear it, Cornelius?
Let me see.
No,
yes.
Clear on my end.
It's clear on your end? Okay. Cornelius, do you still hear the echo?
Clear on my end too.
Okay, good. It was on.
Yeah, I don't hear the echo.
You don't hear it, Cornelius? You don't hear it at all?
Yes, I still hear it.
Okay. Is must be your line and Tucson's line, because everybody else don't hear it. Joseph, you don't hear it, do you, Joseph?
I'm not hearing it now.
Okay. Well, let me get you what I have.
Well, I did. I hear it.
Okay. Let me get you, Joseph.
I hear it too now.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut my phone line down and bring it back up. I think it may be something with the phone line. Leonard, while I'm doing that, brother, what's on your heart?
Just thinking about what you were talking about, and I think that we always so ready to defend, as opposed to just comparing and contrasting information. If you notice, when we talking on the shows, I will stop you in your tracks the moment I hear something that does not make that is too accusatory, especially if we're trying to get to the bottom of something.
Hold on, Leonard. Hold on.
2 participants in the conference.
Is that a word or I ain't never heard that word before now.
Yourself.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, man.
A lot of people say certain things to contribute to their own narrative, to get you to believe what they say. Remember, belief has nothing to do with facts. Belief don't even have to have any facts. It could be just what you like hearing.
Yeah.
And even as much as I love the minister, I would caution anyone, don't even accept what the minister says blindly. You still must go find out for yourself. So then you can truly support his mission and what he's doing. Because you say the words that come out of his mouth are facts. That's why, one, we enjoy people, and like that brother has been solid ever since I've been alive. And watching his interviews and listening to his teachings and things of that nature. It's amazing to me that, like he says, tell me where I'm lying.
Yeah.
We can always have different opinions, but tell me where I'm lying. And then I know some people, you know how it's become common, and once you say something, you find out that it ain't true. Now you want to get funny acting. Because truth has come into the room. And it's not going to allow you to keep pushing that garbage like Nigeria is the most corrupt place on. No, it's not. No, stop it. It's not. Factually, it's not. That's an irrational assumption. But if you want to talk about anything, let's talk about how Nigeria is a lot like America, but without the power. Nigeria is one of the largest nations, economic, I believe, places, with the exception of Egypt, maybe, in Africa. Nigeria is a sprawling metropolis that combines a lot of ethnic categories and all types of things. But I guarantee you, if you move there, you'll be like, yeah, I'll be glad when I get that ticket back, because that's not where you from or where you live. Corruption gonna be everywhere you go. And we talk about it a lot. I be always asking them, we need to get away. Where y'all going? Where y'all going that's so perfect and so peaceful? Where you black people think you're going where there's no corruption. You got people over there right now killed a lady because she wasn't wearing her hijab correctly. And some people believe that's cool. That's okay. You got some countries you go over there and they believe it's okay to tear gay people to pieces with them same horses, Rico. Today, right now. So when we think about it, we have to stop trying to defend so much. And just accept what things are and change those things that we can change.
Good deal. Let me go to Joseph. So you with us? Can you hear us, brother?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Is the echo gone?
No, I still hear the echo.
I wonder what that is. What's going on with that? I might have to...
And it's a delayed echo.
Oh, for real? You trying to figure out what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here. I figured it out. But we're talking about what we asking the question on is how moral or immoral is America? I showed a clip. You missed the clip. It was with Farrakhan and Mike Wallace on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, but I've seen that clip.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I've seen that clip, and and it's a very powerful clip. It seems to me that Minister Farrakhan set forth the way black people ought to be thinking about the world, as opposed to the way Mike Wallace thinks about the world. And Mike Wallace clearly represents the indoctrination of America and its citizens. But Farrakhan proves to be someone who studied outside of the system. And he pretty much juxtaposed America to the other parts of the world. You know, it was a beautiful interview, and I don't think Mike Wallace ever recovered from Minister Farrakhan handing his butt to him. You know, W.B. Du Bois, who was the only black man at the Peace of Versailles in France after World War I. He was the only black man in the room, even though the whole world was fighting. He was a Pan-Africanist early on, and when Kwame Nkrumah from Ghana came to the United States, he sought him out, and the two connected. In fact, Kwame Nkrumah gave W.B. Du Bois a statesman's funeral when he died in Ghana. Now, that's the thinking that African Americans should have toward the continent of Africa. And it wouldn't be unlike what Marcus Garvey had. So what Farrakhan did a very powerful thing in that interview. He told us that we need to research for ourselves and don't allow people to spoon feed us their propaganda.
Exactly. Wow, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna go to Rico, but while I'm doing that, Rico, I'm gonna refresh my screen. So keep talking. I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna go away for a minute. I'm gonna refresh it. Hopefully, that's gonna rectify the situation. But tell us what's on your heart, Rico, while I do that.
Man, you know, something I noticed that some people have to be trying to do, and then some people just have a natural gift for it, and that's to be convincing and to speak matter-of-factly. And sometimes when you got the platform, or when you have brainwashed people into believing that you know something more than the next person, you can feel entitled enough to speak matter-of-factly, you know. And so, you know, I think the question was, did Mike Wallace know that Farrakhan was going to respond like that? I believe he think that he had enough of Farrakhan's respect to where Farrakhan probably would have been like, oh yeah, Nigeria is terrible. I don't like what they're doing over there. I believe that's really what he was expecting from that. And he wanted to use those passionate words, most corrupt, because he know the Nation of Islam is definitely against corruption. You know what I'm saying? So he used that art that they have, you know. You look on Fox News and somebody was speaking matter-of-factly and said, you know, Santa Claus was white, and Jesus too, and God too, if I ain't mistaken. You know, matter-of-factly, you know, if you look at the Bible and look at some pictures of the way they portray Jesus, you know, you would assume matter-of-factly, if that's all that you've seen, that Jesus is white, regardless of what the description said in the Bible. That picture and that image, you know what I'm saying? It sort of gives you that convincing impact. So, you know, it made me really look at Farrakhan and understand that when a man is really righteous and at peace, that he can understand and see when the devil is at work, the great trickster that knows how to use that propaganda and use words and how to touch your emotions and pull at your heartstrings and use words and wordplay and subjects and predicates and adjectives and adverbs and all this eloquence and just to touch your emotion. Farrakhan looked at him like, man, you think I'm falling for this? You think you fixing to say this and get away with it? He didn't expect that at all. He didn't expect it, but it really goes to show you, you know, the art of deception and convincing people that your way is the right way. I mean, you know, that's why the gift of being an orator is so good, and being a good speaker is so good. I mean, look what Hitler was able to do. You know, just from having that fire. And he was a meth head. He was a dope fiend. You know, I mean, a real deal junkie. But he knew how to rile them people up. You know what I'm saying? You ever seen how these white supremacists rile people up? Man. Sometimes if you ain't careful, you'll look at it and be like, man, I got chill bumps myself. But at the same time, you know, you ain't with what they talking about. It let you know that you need to get for real, because these jokers for real. You can feel that passion and know, you know what, if these people catch my child out somewhere slipping, they might take advantage of him because they feeling this stuff. I mean, you can look at the Nazi speeches and you might not understand one word that Hitler said, but you can look at the fire and see the response in the people and look at, oh man, that passion. I mean, so yeah, man, that gift to be able to speak like that, man, it just is. It's funny how that can be a natural gift for some people, you know, to be able to trick and deceive and convince you. You know what I'm saying? And then with some, you know, you have to be taught that. But you know, thankfully, you have people like him that are always on their toes. You know, sometimes they might call it being over suspicious or over precautious, but you know what? I'd rather be over prepared than under prepared. So I'm gonna always be expecting you to be slick at the mouth too, especially when I know your history and that you don't like to look in the mirror or hold yourself accountable. And I agree with what Leonard said. You know, that they do pull people apart in other countries, but like Farrakhan was saying, we talking about America.
Good deal. Let's go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart?
Man, I'm enjoying what everyone's saying because it's got a lot of facts to it. Because that's the truth of the world. Or excuse, let me rephrase that. A truth. Because I'm a firm believer that many people are born with gifts, and those gifts can be used or taken away. The part that sometimes gets to me is, why would someone choose to receive that much bad karma on the next go around? And just to clear that up, I am a believer in reincarnation. So I was just sitting here while some of the things that were brought up, wondering what Hitler came back as. Wonder if it was a worm so everyone could walk over him. Anyway, you know I'm gonna throw out some things.
Come on, man.
However, that's the thing, though, is how have we, as humans, allowed those evil folks to separate us so much?
Wow.
Why did we give them so much power? And I mean all of us. Not just black folks, not just indigenous, not just white. I mean all. Why do we give them so much power?
Did we give it to them?
What stops us from taking it?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Richard, what's on your heart, brother? Can't hear you. You must be muted.
Well,
there you go.
Well, my bad. No, I'm just listening to what y'all saying, man. There's a lot of wisdom being dropped, man. You know, all the brothers are bringing forth truth, and the reality of the situation is, I agree with the brothers when they say that, you know, again, you know, Mike Wallace operated from straight up bias, talking about the wickedness of Nigeria and ignoring the wickedness of this particular land that we live in, you know. But I will say this, you know, I know the one brother was talking about, you know, how we look at things and, you know, we look at whiteness and blackness particularly. Like, you know, I hear people talk about Jesus being a black man or a white man. I'm gonna say this: Jesus, if he were here today in the United States, would be considered a black man if he were here today, right now.
Yeah.
However, I'm also going to say that while people understood that we were different colors at that particular point in history, there was no such thing as white people or black people at the time Jesus walked the earth. They were just people of different nations. You know, this whole sickness of whiteness and blackness that we have accepted has really corrupted our own thoughts. And what I mean by that is, you know, we have a habit, and I'm not talking about anyone here. This is a conversation I had earlier today, that we look at the past through the prism, through the glasses of looking at it, at this whiteness and blackness thing. Whiteness and blackness didn't exist till probably late 1500s, man. Or I should say the mid 1400s is when you really get the beginning of the idea of whiteness and blackness being things. Up until then, our people from Africa considered themselves Ashanti, Husafalani, Igbo, Ichikiri. You know, that's who we were. And in Europe, they considered themselves Slavs and Celts and, you know, Anglos and Saxons, you know, so they didn't consider themselves white either. You know, that wickedness was created to facilitate one thing, which was the transatlantic slave trade. And the brother, you know, Mr. Badger wrote Tribe Names in Our Race. You're correct. There is no such thing as race. There is only one race, unless one of y'all for a Vulcan or a Kryptonian or something. We all humans.
Exactly.
You know, the tribes and people groups and families that we're from of the earth, we all come from the family of Adam first and foremost, every one of us. All right. We're all sons and daughters of Adam. That's our race, human. All right. And at the end of the day, we have got to get past, we won't be able to, as a society, as the human race, until we get past some of this type of stuff, because it really restricts our learning. It restricts our ability to be able to understand each other, to communicate with each other, and to work towards things together as a group. You know, and in this country right now, you know that race is a big thing.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
You know, and the country is very divided right now. And like I said, you know, America being a country, it's our country. We live here. You know, let's just be real about it. You know, we can talk all we want to talk. Ain't nobody trying to move nowhere else, for real. And the reality of the situation is, at this particular point, our generation, those of us, I'm 50. I'm a child of the civil rights movement. My children are probably the first people to really be black people that really operate in some degree of equality on paper. So this is where we at. And at the end of the day, this nation is going to go down because of that whiteness and blackness thing. That's what's going to take us down. If we do not get this together, that'll be the thing. That's why the Russians and the Chinese, you know, all in our media, pumping all this. They push a lot of agendas through the media to separate us, because they figure, you know, you can't come and attack the United States and win. I don't care what you think of our military, you're not going to win. All right. But if you let something, you tear us up from the inside, oh yeah, that could happen. I don't know if y'all watch that Luke Cage show used to come on Netflix. All right, Luke Cage, superhero power man from Marvel Comics, indestructible skin. Can't kill him, shoot him. But you know how they always kill him? You know, in the little what if stories in Marvel Comics, somebody either shrink some bombs and put them inside of him, or let him eat it. And he blows up and kills him from inside. And that's what's going to happen to this country. And white folks, the reality of it is, this original sin of this country is race. All right. That is, and it really coalesced in the Civil War. All right. And that thing will be the thing that tear us apart, because we ain't repented from it. You know, we just act like it just went away. We have to address the realities of it. And we as black people got to address our own, you know, problems we have, because a lot of us unfortunately accepted the idea of white supremacy. And that's a different conversation. But I mean, culturally and mentally, we have a lot of us have accepted it. And you know, you hear it in the way we talk to each other about each other. You know, I'm gonna go to that white mechanic, you know, I'm gonna go to that white realtor, you know, and you know, but we say we think we all that, but at the same time we keep signifying the idea that we still believe white people are superior to us. So we got a lot of work to do as a group ourselves. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, if we don't get this stuff together, man, You know, hey, empires come and go, and this will be the thing to take this one out.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna ask a rhetorical question. We lost our there you go right now. I was gonna go to him next. I'm gonna ask a rhetorical question, and then we're gonna move on. Actually, I'm gonna go to Rodney because he had his hand up a minute ago, and I want to see what's on his heart. When you say Adam, are you talking about a man or a gene? Rhetorical question. Rodney, what's on your heart? That's a whole different conversation, ain't it? Rodney, can't hear you, brother.
Yeah, I just want to add to that last topic. I think that we have lost or taken for granted the art of debate and research. Because a person's eloquent, because they have a good presentation doesn't make it fact. A lot of times they're spewing out information. It's up to us as consumers of information to investigate for ourselves. A lot of us are just taking stuff for face value as fact. In reality, it's not fact. And most of the brothers on this panel are educated in various backgrounds, so they're familiar with certain things because they've taken the time to do the research. They didn't just take it for granted that somebody said something. Again, Farrakhan's an eloquent speaker, but again, you have to research for yourself to make sure what he's saying is factual. Everybody gives a speech as an objective that they're trying to make you believe. Now, you can either believe it, or you can say there's a grain of truth in there somewhere, or there isn't. You're the consumer. We have to decide. We have to figure out what the truth is. Don't allow other people to tell us the truth. And again, getting back to that black and white thing, I'm agreeing with the brother. That's a design by the capitalists to just confuse things. I mean, it's all a trap. It's a bait and switch. We get caught up in race, and really it's about economics, about power. And so we have to understand where I've always learned is that when somebody's giving a speech, you want to find out what objective they're trying to occur, what is their position in it, and what do they stand to gain from that conversation. Nobody walks up to you and starts talking just to be talking. They're trying to convince you of something. So you're as a consumer, you want to find out what is their angle, what are they presenting. Now, in that angle, you can pick and choose what you need out of it and keep it moving. So again, we should not get caught up in all the smoke and mirrors and all this other stuff that's going on in America. Everybody's got their agenda, but at the end of every agenda, it's about economics and about power. And if we understand that, then now I can understand where you're coming from. Now I know what you want from me. You want my vote. You want my consumership. Once I understand what you want from me, we can deal. We can deal with it. But don't tell me something and it's something else. So again, we have to step back, consume the information, do our research, and that gets back to that first topic you talked about, the trust factor. Once you do your research, then you trust.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, sir.
Oh man, I'm just glowing. I don't know if I can follow that, but that's
come on, you got it.
Truth.
Yes, sir.
The whole idea is divide and conquer. And so when you run out of people to be oppressive or to see themselves oppressed, you have to create another class of people. Now you get into identity politics. So you got the LGBTQ got their movements. You got everybody got their movements, and everybody fighting each other for crumbs. Well, I can't, but I know the bottom line is that until we start seeing ourselves as what we are, as human beings, in this whole division of color, we'll have different conversations about everything. The anger be gone. The facts will still be there. The history will be there, but the anger, the emotion, would be gone. You'd be thinking clearly. Then you can communicate with other people. But I'm glad I called tonight. This has been inspiring to me.
Yes, sir.
If I had time, I'll tell you a testimony how the teachers of the Outer Rise Movement brought me out of prison with a sentence you won't even believe. How doors are open for me just when I changed my thinking, just when I changed how I act, how I move, how I refined and civilized myself. I applied those lessons. He said, think 5 times before you speak, then just maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Basic things. But I'm out of here, bro. I'm gonna have to play, like Curtis said.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go to Joseph. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, that was very powerful. The last two callers brought out something. We come from one human gene, as you stated. We can call him Adam. The scripture refers to him as Adam. So we're one race, a human race. But there are those in this country that will resist that kind of language because if we all accept each other as just human beings, someone in this power struggle will lose something.
Yes.
So we can forgive and love because we don't have anything to lose. But for those who have the power, that's hard. In fact, I believe this is why the MAGA people are all rallying and, attacking the Capitol and everything, because they're afraid that the obvious is coming to the surface. For many years, the myths have stood. This superior, inferior race concepts have been in place. But when Mr. Obama became president and served 2 terms, that shook up some things. In fact, I've heard many from the right-wing camp say that Mr. Obama caused the division in the country. I've had to remind some of them, no, your hatred for Mr. Obama caused the division. Your fear of Mr. Obama caused the division because he represents the coming of age of people of color in this country, assuming greater responsibility in terms of leadership. So it's kind of hard for those people to embrace that concept that we're all human and that we're all from the human family. It would be nice if we all could accept that. In fact, I don't even think we need to call each other Chinese American, African Americans, and all of this. Let's just be American.
Yeah.
But that's dangerous. That's a dangerous concept. And many in the MAGA camp will resist it. But we don't call white Americans, Irish American necessarily, or British Americans or French Americans. We just call them white. But everybody else, we got these hyphens, and we wouldn't need these application race and on these applications to buy our homes and to join the military and to enter in college. You wouldn't have to check that block whether you're Asian or African American or whatever, if we were just all Americans.
Exactly.
And why shouldn't it be? We all paying taxes. We paying for everything. So why shouldn't it just be everybody American? Why don't we just petition our government to remove all that from the application? If you're born in this country, you're an American. And you're entitled to whatever access to whatever opportunities there is available to every American. Oh boy, that's a radical concept.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you one of the reasons why I think, and I could be totally wrong on this, why I think, and it would be wonderful. It would absolutely be wonderful if they could. But one of the reasons why I think they're not going to do that, because there's a gatekeeper, and they can look at your application even before they call you in, and they look at your application and look at the things on it, or what box you check to determine whether or not.
And they regulate opportunity
by that.
They regulate the opportunity.
The gatekeepers.
As I said, out of 400-something generals in the military, only about 16 were black when I was serving in '87. I don't know what that number look like now, but they regulate those things.
And that's why they have them there. It's called a gatekeeper, and those are the gate. That's another way right there of guarding the gate. We ain't gonna let you in because you check the wrong box. Now, what would happen if we would just check the wrong, or we would check the wrong box? If we all check white, or we all check, something that we're not, and we get in and
I
give
can
it
answer
to
that.
anyone. Go ahead, Badger. Go ahead.
I actually got in trouble for putting myself as Native American on an application because I don't have a card.
Wow.
Even though it's my heritage.
See, and that's the thing. If we all just check the same box and just see what happened. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Can't hear you. Oh, I keep muting you, Leonard?
Keep muting it, I guess.
Okay, there you go.
Well, I think that it's up to each and every man to make sure that he is representing himself. And I don't fall into certain categories. I don't have no problem with labels and things like that. That don't bother me. If we hear there's an effort against birthright citizenship. Because that's the rule. If you're born in America, you can claim American citizenship. This is why there's an initiative to get rid of that. Because say, for instance, if your parents, let's say, for instance, your parents in the military and you're born somewhere else, you're not necessarily American unless you're born on a government site that the U.S. owns. So there's a lot of issues on people. Well, why shouldn't we do this? And also to add, that section is optional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but sometimes if you don't fill it out, it gets in file 13 though. Sometimes they'll put it right.
That's your assumption.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
But never. See, this is what I'm saying. When we go after races, we really go after races. We don't just go after the feelings of the matter. If I'm coming after you because of racism, I'm going after the facts of the matter, and I'm going to prove you're racist. I'm not just going to assume you won. There's a lot of people come to us for help, and they assume everything is racism until I pull your file. Because I'm completely not moved by emotion. I was sitting in front of the sheriff of Rockdale County. They got attitude. Well, I didn't appreciate them. I'm not here about what you appreciate. I'm here about the facts of the matter. And I want to see that prisoner that sent me that message about how he was being treated.
Okay. And that actually transitions us over to our next square. And Richard, I'm gonna start the square off with you. Because I've heard this many times over. They say that a lot of times in certain situations, certain instances, it happens. So I want you to explain to me, Richard, what is playing the black card?
Well, I've heard the term used. Actually, I've never heard the term used when someone's actually doing it. All right. What I mean by that is we all know that there are people that have used, they just say, hey, it's racism when it was something that really wasn't racism. You acted a fool at your job, you get fired, it was racism. I'll never forget, I worked at a hotel one time and I did security. And we off-duty officers. And we were all black. All of us black. Yeah. Most of us from different hoods. All right. And we had some brothers up in Chicago that's from East St. Louis or somewhere, St. Louis, threw a party, acted a damn fool. I'm talking about this hotel, man, our rooms was like $600 a night. And you got black, white, Asians, everybody up in there. So these people rent a room on the floor. They weren't supposed to bring alcohol in. They bringing alcohol in. They got about 50 people in this room partying. Everything against the rules. All right. They smoking weed. All right. This before weed was legal in Illinois. They all get us all through the hallway. So you got open alcohol that they're not supposed to have. You got weed. And so we looking, and I work for the state. So I'm asking the CPD, what we gonna do? And I'm like, we got to arrest people because there's all kind of legal stuff going on. They're like, nah, we're not gonna arrest somebody. We're just gonna have them leave. Now, all black officers go up to this door. They did wrong, bogus wrong. We say, ain't nobody going to jail. Y'all just got to go. And they start videotaping, man, talking about we racist, a hotel racist. I'm like, is you serious? Now, mind you, we've been videotaped, and bro, sometimes my mouth can go there. So I'm trying to hold my tongue, I'm like, We being videotaped because that's gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
But finally, now there was one dude, I can say it now because it's over with, but there was one dude that kept on mouthing, mouthing.
Yeah.
And when
mouthpiece. The mouthpiece.
But when everybody left with the camera, he was still mouthing. Then I got to talk to him, regular Chicago style. He understood where I was coming from. So he
had to use it.
It was time to go. But they said the whole thing was racist, and it wasn't. So that's playing the black card when you saying you bogus. You bogus, but you want to say it's because of race. Now, when I've heard people accuse people of the race card, or I've seen people play the race card, and they generally get a race card. Nobody ever calls them out on it. Hotel refunded their money, all that stuff, just so they didn't want to have to even think about being called racist. But when I've seen real things happen to people that were racial, someone discriminating against someone against they were black or whatever, and then it's white people who are on that zone. That's not all white people, but will say you're playing the race card when they know they bogus. It's like a white person who calls you racist when you are pointing out their racism. It's like so. The only time I've ever heard someone say you're playing the black card is when you're actually calling them out on their real BS.
Good deal.
Yeah, so that's how I look at it. But it's a thing, though. I've seen brothers and sisters try to pull it, when they know they bogus. But when I've seen people in the right, and then somebody say you're playing the race card when they clearly in the right, they're clearly talking about something that's real that's happened.
Good deal. Keep this thing going, Badger. What is playing the black card?
What? How are you going to ask me that question?
No, he can't play it.
I can't play that card.
What, you want me to leave you out, brother? You're part of the panel. I gotta ask you the questions. You don't want to answer.
I was sitting here listening to him, and I'm like,
all you have to do is say, look. You can say pass. I go to somebody else. I can't just leave you out, brother.
I wanted to share something, if that's okay.
Okay, so you don't want to answer the question.
It's about cards. It's just.
Badger's so uncomfortable right now.
Oh, what? No.
Go ahead.
I actually, when I was about 17 years old, this is probably the strongest example I have honestly seen of the black card versus the white card scenario. And it's always been on my mind for almost 20 years. That scenario playing over in my head over and over again. Both had a good point. Both were in the right. And I honestly didn't know what to do in that situation. Because the white guy was racist, and he was pulling the white privilege card. But the black guy was sitting there selling drugs to minors. And he was pulling the racist card, and I'm like, well, I know that guy's racist, and he should go to jail for being for hate crimes. So, I'm willing to go to court over this. But at the same time, I understand this guy's racist, and he might be profiling you, but you're actually guilty of what you're doing. Now, anytime I've personally seen the black card used, it's been very rare that it wasn't truth. And I always defended and backed them up. I don't care if it costs me my job or not. If a person's acting racist, I'm going to call them out on it. I'm psychotic. I don't care. I don't fit in the white communities. I just don't. Me and Leonard talk about that off and on all the time. I couldn't pull a white card if I tried. Because the moment I open my mouth, it's over.
Like I told him one before, if he just shut up and be white, he would understand what we was talking about. If he could keep his mouth closed, he could find out exactly go behind enemy lines and be white and bring us intel back on what's going on.
And his wife in the background, here's this.
He don't want to pay attention. He don't want to act right. He don't want to act right.
His wife hears this.
He's an Indian.
Badger and goes, "You know he can't do that.
Gotta have the fire."
Sound like an episode in Roots where the white boys supposed to have been the one beating the slaves, and he was poor too, but he realized how evil it was, and those black folks helped him out a lot of times. So he said, "I can't whip y'all. Y'all my friends." He said, "Well, you need to play like you're whipping us, cause he gonna kill us if they have to be the one to whip us." So,
see, I couldn't even do that. I turned the whip on them.
Lord.
And I make that joke, Raheem. But if we look at this in this Kanye situation,
yeah,
how race is in there, and how this very smart brother uses it.
Mm-hmm.
You was just in bed with him day before yesterday, but now all of a sudden they so wicked.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
We all knew who they were and what they do. You knew it too, but now what you want to do? You want to come out here like they just done something to all of us and this, that. Come on, brother. Come on now. You was getting the same checks. You getting the same checks, and y'all was cool. So we have to be careful and protect our real culture this way, that we can have more integrity. Because soon these brothers like Kanye fall out, then all of a sudden now, look at them Jews. Them Jews this. But you went and gave all your money to them. You trusted them with everything you had. When you was a brother who had enough to be completely independent.
Or even help his community.
But now you want to try to pit Jews against everybody for your benefit. Brothers like Kanye, you have to watch because they lead other young brothers a certain way. He's the type of brother that will convince other brothers that think they got something not to vote.
Wow. And I gotta make my way around. We at 42, so everybody give me your quick versions of what you're gonna say. Calling to touch everybody. But Richard, you say you had something to say on that, brother. What's on your heart?
Boy, y'all probably saw me making a face a bit ago because I was on Facebook. People were, because I said something about Kanye, man, and man, all right, first off, man, you was absolutely right, brother, for what you said, man. I mean, this dude, if it is true what he's saying, he was part of the problem the whole time, just benefited from it. So it must have went south from some type of way. But the reality of the Kanye thing, man, this is what gets me about my people. All right, if somebody can dance, dunk a basketball, rap, or sing, we start talking about what type of genius they are. And on top of that, we got people following this dude who's clearly got a mental health issue. Clearly got a mental health issue at least. On top of that, has insulted our ancestors on multiple occasions. Multiple occasions. And these same, I'm just gonna call it like these same morons following this fool. All right. Sit there and try to act like he's saying something deep. I'm like, is you serious? I don't even know what to say. I'm like, look, man. I don't even know. I could go on. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I'm gonna say this much. I'm gonna say, how is it that we have people and like Neil deGrasse Tyson? Neil deGrasse Tyson's astrophysicist. I ain't never heard nobody talk about him being a genius. Let me be clear. I have a lot of disagreements with Neil deGrasse Tyson when it comes to theology and philosophy and history. But I respect the fact if I got to ask somebody about the black hole at the center of the galaxy, he gonna know a lot about it. And we ain't never heard nobody talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson's a genius. But who do we call geniuses? R. Kelly, Kanye West.
Who is that fellow?
Come on, cuz.
Who's that fella, man, that be going around getting everybody genealogy? He on a lot of stars as well.
Gates. Henry Louis Gates.
Yeah. Now that's Shaw brother right there, man. Shaw brother, man.
We don't ever hear that. We got people that want to celebrate celebrity. We are brainwashed to celebrate celebrity. And to the point that we put these people up. I got these people sitting there talking about. I'm on my page looking at these people. Talking about Kanye West like he's some deity. You don't understand the brother. I'm like, I understand that he insulted our ancestors one time too many. I was done. That's it. That's all. And I said, if you too slow not to know your own history of your people, that you let this mock come on national TV and wherever he at and disrespect Harriet Tubman, disrespect our slave ancestors, walk around talking about Donald Trump as his daddy, walk around with Candace Owens and sit there like they husband and wife and they anti-black self-hatred And I got people celebrating this. Talking, well, you know, he talking deep. You know what they sound like to me? Y'all watch Living Color, right? All right. The people that talk about Kanye West, see, you got to understand, my brother. You got to excruciate upon the metaphysical, my brother. That's what it is. That's how they say. Every fool that defends Kanye West sound like that to me. You might as well be that to me. You know, and I'm sorry, man. They can miss me with all that. But that's my whole thing with Kanye. I'm be quiet, I'm leaving alone.
And that's what race. And that's what race has done to us.
Hold on.
I got to ask a question.
Everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on. I gotta touch everybody because everybody, you know, y'all been playing tennis. I gotta be fair to everybody. Hold on, I come back around to you, Rico. I'm coming back to you, brother. Rico, what's on your heart? I'm coming back to you.
I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go ahead. I don't mind watching tennis tonight. Go ahead, y'all want to go ahead.
Badger, go ahead.
I gotta ask. If there are so many people that are like-minded like you and Leonard and I didn't know he said all that, so I'm with y'all now because I wasn't following that news because I don't really look into a bunch of the celebrity stuff. I focus on what the government bills and all that are getting passed and whatnot. So now I'm gonna have to go research it. But I have a question. Why don't we ask the grandmas in his community to line up on one side and hand them up switches about that big around and make them walk the gauntlet.
They twerking.
And make them walk the gauntlet.
It ain't the same grandmamas.
No, grandma ain't the same, brother. Grandma ain't the same. Grandma different. Go
They're
ahead.
at the casino. They gambling at the casino right now. They ain't the same. You know,
Rodney, what's on your heart, Rodney?
Yeah, I was just listening to the two brothers, Leonard and my man here. They're very good points. But I just want to bring the black card thing, two issues that I want to bring forth, and I'll let you guys get back at it. When I was in my other profession as a bail bondsman, the first thing people would say when they got arrested was they pulled me over because I was black. And then when I pull up their record, their rap sheet, it says something totally different. You know what I mean? And that takes away the sting. And what I found out, the reason why they call it a card is because when you have nothing else to stand on, you pull that up to make them feel uncomfortable. Now, what I got an issue with, and you guys kind of touched on it, was all these celebrities like Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, we can go down the whole list. They weren't black until they got in trouble. Then they became black. So my thing is, a lot of times people use that as a form of rallying the black community around them when their whole life, their whole intention was just to make that money. And when it goes south, then they want to be black. They want our support. So that's why I think the use of the black card comes in.
Wow. Let's go to Joseph. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, man, I'm reminded of a case that we had where there was a countywide elected black official got in some trouble with the GBI. And, man, I just knew that those political powers who didn't like the fact that he was the first African-American elected countywide was going after him. So a complaint was made with the NAACP. I was the president. So I, went over and sat down, met with our brother, sat down with him. And I said, well, look, just show me, the facts about the case and show me, how you can counter the argument with GBI. And then I'll be able to, confidently, speak to those forces. But I was told, no, you can't see that information. It has something to do with Medicare and Medicaid. So I wanted to believe the brother that it was a race situation. But the closer I got to it, the obvious it became to me that brother was lying. So, and I had to back off and I said, well, brother, I can't embarrass the whole NAACP, be all on the evening news trying to defend you, and all of a sudden they throw their trump card down and make us look like fools.
Yep.
It's a really painful thing when black folks use the race card wrongly.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts. It hurts. You know, I remember when Tawana Brawley brought her case forward for Al Sharpton and Mr. Farrakhan, and how embarrassing it was when we got the true information.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of our people don't have no scruples about what the organization represent, you know, and how important our organizations are. So it's a sad thing when I encounter that. But now, you know, most of the time when we go out to deal with cases, you know, of course, we always do our due diligence, and we always get all of the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Or we try to get all the facts before we speak.
Mm-hmm.
We try not to go out there half-cocked. You know, I give it some time, and I sift through everything that I can find. And then once I'm very sure that it is racially motivated,
mm-hmm.
then I will, you know, join with the others and we'll act on it. But it's a sad reality in many cases.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, sir. Mr. Hicks, you there? Mr. Hicks, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Talk to me, sir.
Oh man, almost like Rick. I want to pass and just watch a tennis game going. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I look at young people like Kanye and Tupac and all those having grown up with my kids being teenagers. I jumped into it just to figure out what the hell they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what the program is, and trying to sort of guide them.
Mm-hmm.
But with my children and with young folks, we all evolving. It's hard to judge a thing before it's time. I think everything that indicates there is an MK Ultra program. There's
mm-hmm.
a program that they do with these elites.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some mental stuff. Some I don't want to get deep in it because it's all out there. There's nothing new. But I think that his program is breaking now,
mm-hmm.
and I think he's trying to find himself.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Sir?
Absolutely. I'm looking.
That's my own voice. My voice coming back at me.
Oh, good there. I'm looking at the clock, man. We only got a few more minutes before we get out of here. We definitely got to do our closing and stuff like that. So let me go to Rico. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Well, you know, I don't know if we really using black card right. I think when you use your black card, you use it as a way of saying favor. Hey, man, look out for a brother. Hey, give me a discount.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for me, officer. Let me go. Let me ride this time, man. It ain't nothing but a zip. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing but a little dope, man. It ain't nothing but a couple of bills. I think that's when we use the black card.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But now when we use the race card, that's when we are crying wolf. That is equivalent to screaming rape.
I think too, though, Rico. A lot of times people say they use the black card when they're trying to get away with something. When they're trying to, get away with something. There he go.
Yeah, that's the favor. That's the privilege of getting away with that ounce of weed that he caught you with. You know what I'm saying? Come on, brother. You know somebody that smoked weed, officer.
Mm-hmm.
You probably been so you get what I'm saying. You using the black card. You using that favor just like the white card. You taking advantage of your privilege and your entitlement of how you relate to this person. Mm-hmm. But now the race card is, like I said, equivalent to screaming rape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But both of them are ways to avoid accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really what it boils down to. Either way, it's a way for you to avoid your accountability or your responsibility for doing what you're supposed to do or what you should have did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we start talking about Kanye, I've seen the message, and I don't think he was saying that. I hope he wasn't saying Kanye and Tupac was the same, but maybe he was talking about it in a way that they have a cult following. And it's funny that Joseph brought up MAGA, I brought up Hitler. And remember what I said earlier about when people have things and power, they have access. They seem to be a lot easier to convince the sheep that want that same thing. And if you got something that I want, or you got something that I adore, or cherish, that I respect you for, you might know something I don't know. You might tend to have a little bit more impact on me. So now imagine a system in place where we can reward people and put them in these same positions and let them put out the wrong message. Or you can put people in a position like Kanye that will say anything that's convenient. That's the reason why he flip-flops so much. One minute he black power, one minute he white lives matter. The dude to do anything just to get anything in his favor. He's very similar to Trump, and people calling him a genius. Do you, man? You know what, man? Ever since I've been on the air this morning, do you know it was a man, a brother, that went live wanting to debate me about another man, or wanted to debate me about Kanye. And I told him, man, listen, I don't debate other men, and I definitely ain't going to sit back here and talk about another man that is insecure about another man's penis size. If you really know what's going on, he's been talking about that too. That man got some very insecure mental issues going on with his family and with his wife, and with the things he's seeing his daughter sitting in that man's lap. Remember I said that a long time ago? Remember when Kim came on TV and said about what she heard about Pete? Oh, man, that man going crazy. And so now he has his platform where he can vent and let everybody know about his mental issues. At the same time, people don't understand that he's having a breakdown because he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
So I made the comment. I said, well, you know what, man? If he is truly a genius and such a great artist like everybody has said that he was, he can defeat this cancel culture.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, you know, when you and Joseph was saying that earlier about the gatekeepers, those are the people that will counsel you.
Exactly.
So, you know, we can say, well, you know what, man, I don't see race, you know, because I didn't know race was a issue till a white person showed me that race was an issue. And I could walk around all day long and act like race ain't an issue until I have to address that race is an issue that I might not even bring up because it was never about to me in the first place. So you still got the gatekeepers and the council culture that still will deny you the opportunity to just look at things on a human race mindset. You still got to be aware that you're going to have to confront this on from somebody else that benefits from it. You know, and that's where we really got the problem at. It ain't going to be as easy as just us believing that we're going to be able to just believe in the human race.
All right, preacher. You know, preacher, we got to get out of here. You see that clock, preacher?
Am I a preacher or a spectator on the tennis match?
Oh, now look. How they say? Which one is you? Which one is you?
Is I.
Exactly. But listen, man, this has been a great broadcast, man. I definitely want to thank everybody for participating, man. I know we helped a lot of people. We didn't get to all four of the squares, but we covered three, and we covered them real strongly. I put a rhetorical question out there talking about Adam. Was Adam a person or was Adam a gene? We might talk about that. We might talk about that next week. Because that's kind of heavy. That's kind of heavy. Leonard,
hold on, real quick.
Yes. Man, you know we got to get out of here, man. You can't be just jumping in
so
like
we
that.
Were talking about Kanye West or whatever.
Kanye, man. Kanye.
Whatever his junk name is.
Now we ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop. We got to get out of here, man. It's gonna be 10 o'clock and you want to talk about Kanye. No.
Well, we were talking about
Badger.
Why don't we talk about Morgan Freeman and Denzel?
His name Freeman. It's Freeman. It's Freeman. It ain't Morgan
you
Freeman. It's Morgan Freeman. See what I'm saying to you? See, man, look, you just killing me, Badge. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
Leonard told you to just sit back and be quiet sometimes. Not even with just the white people, but even with us, sometimes you might just need to ask a few questions.
See, I'm trying to help you, man. You don't know when somebody's trying to help you, Badge. I'm trying to help you. Wrote in a post, Morgan Freeman. I say, oh Lord, I hope you don't say that right there out loud. I say, I hope you don't say that out loud.
That
and
would
look at
be
what
a Jew.
What did you just say?
The original Jews.
Stop
original
it.
Jews. Freedmen.
Oh goodness.
He said Morgan. He said, and we talking about Keon.
Wait, did they get the name? Did the indigenous people get the name from that too?
And then you went on further talking about Morgan Freeman. No, man, ain't no Morgan Freeman, man.
This don't help after I've been watching Boondocks half the day. It really.
Oh my God, I'm done.
Listen, I'm gonna go around to everybody real quick. Let's see what you want to say in your closing. Say what you want to say in your closing, and we're gonna keep a Joseph. Joseph, you there? Joseph, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. See. Okay, let me go ahead and go. Rico, in your closing, sir.
Great show, fellas. Great discussion. Let's start moving forward and making ways the way we can start getting some of this thing into action and stop having so many talks, I guess.
Absolutely. Leonard, in your closing.
Man, it was a good show, man. I appreciate being on with you all. And let's start with ourselves. Before we hurl accusations and disrespect brothers and others, examine ourselves first.
Exactly. Richard?
Thanks again for having me back on. It's always good to talk to the brothers, man, and talk to you guys and really just gain some wisdom, and be able to talk to actual men who actually are thinking. And
yes, sir.
It's just a positive thing. I appreciate it. I look forward to being back on with y'all and have y'all on my show one of these days.
Hey,
so
waiting on the invitation, brother. Waiting on the invitation.
Oh, it'll be probably next week. Probably next week.
Good deal. Badger.
I hope anyone that listens really takes our points of go research and not just from one source. Sometimes the most intelligent people are the untold stories. They're not hard to find, or they can be hard to find. Don't be weak.
Exactly. Joseph, you back with us? Okay. Rodney?
Why you pick me last? Because I'm black?
Yeah, basically.
But I just want to just say it was a great show. And again, I think what I got from the conversation is dialogue is good, debate is good, but do your research before you repeat stuff.
Absolutely. Richard, I'm going to put you on the spot, brother.
Uh-oh.
Pray us out.
Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, I praise you and I bless you, Lord. Lord, I thank you for this time of fellowship. I thank you for this time of me being able to receive wisdom and hopefully share some. Lord, I thank you for all that you have done and what you're going to do. And Father God, I just speak peace, prosperity, joy, good health, and love over all these brothers' lives. And I speak that in the mighty name of your Son, our salvation, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Good deal. Rico, we got a show that we do on Monday through Friday, but we got one on Wednesday. It's the real special. What that thing called?
Called Way Out Wednesday.
Leonard, he got it right. Look at that.
Man, do I got something for in the morning.
Okay, so y'all make sure y'all join us. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the same bat place, same bat channel, right here, DKM Media Group and Associates. Every day, Monday through Friday, from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you join us and join into the conversation. We have a lot of very deep conversation, much like we had tonight on the Morning Glow. It's called the Morning Glow. So come and get your Morning Glow. Now, we're about to get out of here for tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow, Real Men Being Men, for being a part of your evening. I want to thank you for joining us. Okay, that something just happened on my screen. I ain't know what the world was going on there, but we got it good. I want to thank you for joining us. And right there. Hold on, y'all. I got some glitches going on over here. I want to thank you for joining us for Real Men Being Men. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light in from Real Men Being Men. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great night. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. See you tomorrow morning. God say the same.